Hi, everyone. It's Bridget Cisco. I'm here with Karen Chenaille, and today we are talking about the Realtor Investor. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Me too. Did I pronounce the last name correct?
Perfect. Right on the money.
We love that. So you are one of the authors in the upcoming book, The Realtor Investor, What Every Investor Should Know Before Choosing Their Next Realtor. And we wanted to do a little series where you as the author can be spotlighted so we can learn a little bit more about your business and, of course, what you were going to plan on writing about in the book. So let's just start with who is Karen and all of your businesses?
Okay. Well, Karen is a realtor located in the great state of Tennessee. My area of focus is the Smoky Mountains. In addition to real estate, I have several different businesses, which I think might make me a little different than most realtors you're going to talk to, which is, I guess, the investor piece of it all. I, as we all know, real estate can be cyclical, and I don't think it's a super stable income, especially I've only been at this for 3 years. There could be realtors out there that have much deeper and broader books of business than I do, but I really am still, compared to a lot of agents I know, just getting started. And so I've had other businesses before I got here to Tennessee. I've had a convenience store, and then I had or still have a pretty good short-term rental portfolio. So that I was also looking to kind of add more streams of income once we got here to Tennessee, so that if the real estate gets kind of slow, we had a nice balance of things, and I wasn't always dependent upon the real estate. And then, the other thing, if you talk to anyone who's been in real estate a long time, is you need to set yourself up so that when you decide you don't want to sell real estate anymore and you sell your last house, the rest of your income can't be solely dependent upon selling real estate. So since we've gotten to Tennessee, in addition to the short-term rental portfolio, we've gone ahead and started a couple different businesses. We started a coffee shop. And that was because we just saw an opportunity there, and I had some money left in my 401k from my W-2 job, and we took that money and put it as down payment on a private financing deal for a coffee shop. The coffee shop came with an acre of land, and the mortgage on the coffee shop was kind of high. We had a 15-year amortization on it, which made it probably inordinately high for that type of business. Normally, you wouldn't put a coffee shop in a building that had a $7,300 a month mortgage on it. So we were like, well, what are some other things we could do here with this extra acre of land in order to kind of help offset this mortgage payment a little bit and maybe get some tax deductions in the process? And we arrived at glamping. And so we talked to a guy who sells glamping tents, which was good and bad. He oversold us. He sold us 21 glamping tents for this little 1 acre piece of property and assured us no problem with the county. Everything's going to be great. And we submitted our plan to the county, and they came back and they were like, not no, but hell no. You cannot have this many tents on there. You need to make sure you're accounting for the septic system on this thing. And oh, by the way, you can only have 3.
Wow.
So that left us with 18 tents in storage. We were able to get the 3 up. And then that brings me to my latest venture, which is we're under contract on 93 acres out in Cocke County, Tennessee, to put the balance of the tents up. So we've got, I'm going to say, a thriving glamping business going, with phase 2 soon to be operational, hopefully before Memorial Day. And then I've got a couple other businesses in the area. As a real estate agent, you start to work with clients and you really start to get a feel for kind of what types of services and things, ancillary services, they're looking for. And I was like, what are the types of people I'm connecting these folks with most in my network? And so one of the things that we started was called the Best B&B Host. So this is like a cabin setup and support business. We do decorating. We go in and we inspect behind people's cleaners on a regular basis. And then the other business we have is Octopools, and that is a pool. It's really focused more on indoor pools. There's a ton of Smokies cabins here that have indoor pools. And that's actually a great business model because it requires, it's even better than like a landscaping business, which can be seasonal. The indoor pool business is year round. You have to have your pool cleaned every single week. Most of them are actually 2 times a week. So, and another key thing that I haven't pointed out here is I never started the business until I had a person available to run the business that wasn't named Karen. And so a lot of this was just kind of timing. We had friends of the family or family members that were interested in stepping up and running these businesses. And so, it just all kind of worked out really well on the business side of it. So that's kind of what I do. I call myself an omnipreneur just because I'm involved in real estate. I'm involved in retail. A lot of customer service there. So it's kind of a blend of different industries. I wouldn't say it was just all real estate focused.
It's so cool that you have all these different, very diverse, dynamic background. And I'm curious how that plays a role in you being an agent. How do you think that all of these different businesses actually support you in your real estate business?
Well, they all feed each other, interestingly enough. So Best B&B hosts and Octopools, they get a lot of leads from properties that I sell. So I may sell something to a client and they may say, hey, like I need help decorating this property to get it set up. Can you please go and decorate it? Um, and in addition to my services, I'm always very careful to let them know there's other options in the area. I want to make sure that obviously I want them to pick me, but I also don't want them to feel obligated to pick me. Same thing with the pool company. A lot of the cabins I sell do have pools in them. And it just makes it, people actually, I've found, appreciate it when you can refer them to someone that's kind of a trusted advisor. And then I'm really fortunate the people that lead these businesses are just excellent and they get in there and they do a good job. And I've never had anyone come to me and complain and say, I'm so disappointed that I took your recommendation and used one of your businesses to do this.
Mm-mm. Now, you said that you were 3 years into being a realtor. What led you to wanting to start that business? And were you always interested in real estate? It sounds like you always had like your hands in it in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my desire to become a realtor just for short-term rentals, I don't really sell a lot of primary residences, was based on my own experience that I had. So by the time I became a realtor, I had purchased properties in Florida, Mississippi, and Tennessee. And as an investor, I knew exactly what I was looking for and the type of information that I needed to make good decisions. I wasn't looking for the realtor to do the analysis for me per se, but I just needed like different types of information and maybe a little bit better follow-up. And I wanted someone that had a little bit more of a vested interest in the property as an investment rather than just selling me a piece of real estate. And when COVID came, I was in a W-2 job and they told me, hey, don't come back anymore. We don't want to see you again. You're now 100% remote worker. So that was the point where I was like, maybe I go get my real estate license. So I actually started out licensed in Vermont, and the short-term rental market in Vermont, it's just not that great. It's not enough to sustain anyone. And my husband was looking to retire. We already had properties here in Tennessee. I did have an opportunity to join a fairly well-established team here. So I will say I didn't come here like by myself and start cold. I joined a pretty good team and learned a lot while I was on that team. And just loved it. Like it was everything I thought it was going to be. And I did smashingly well right out of the gate. Cause I didn't know a ton about selling real estate per se, like all the paperwork and the legal aspect of it, but I sure knew how to talk to investors and I sure knew how to like look at a cabin or a property and tell someone whether or not I thought it was going to perform well as a short-term rental. And so that's really how I got into it. I kind of eased into it. For the first several months, I actually kept both jobs. I was selling real estate part-time and then working the W-2 job full-time. And eventually I just transitioned.
Wow. Wow. So we're here today for the book, The Realtor Investor. What called you to want to share part of your story in that book?
I have tried a lot of different ways to get my clients to really understand what I'm about.
Mm.
And, now I work a lot with Zillow leads and things. And I think that I don't want to sound pretentious, but when people call in looking for a short-term rental on Zillow, I don't think they realize like what a good resources they have in me as their realtor. And so I feel like having my story documented somewhere, number one, it's a great calling card for me to just like send them a copy of the book and say, hey, here I am. This interview will be a great resource that I can send them to so they can kind of understand a little bit more about me. Um, and it also really helped me kind of coalesce and organize my thoughts. Like as I'm going through, I'm almost finished with my chapter now. It's really helped me kind of coalesce like my story and kind of weave like a common theme in there and kind of pull all the ends together because it's taken 6 years for this whole story to unfold and evolve itself. So I really enjoyed the opportunity. And like I said, I think it'll be a really good calling card moving forward.
Yeah, and especially someone like you has such a diverse and dynamic background. Like you haven't just been an agent your entire life. You haven't just focused on investing. You've done so many different things. And I always feel like people that do that, they have this wealth of experience and knowledge that people might just not realize right away, which is kind of what I'm hearing from you. So this is going to be such a great
Yeah.
asset for you.
Yeah. And it seems, like I could never get like a new Zillow lead on the phone and talk to them for 10 minutes and just tell them everything I've told you. It's be much easier to point them to like this interview or other things that I've done and say, hey, like here's who you're getting, here's what I've done. And it might be a little more engaging too, and they can watch it on their own. They don't have to sit there and listen to me drone on and on about how great Karen is or isn't.
I love that. So you said that it's taken you some time to kind of put this story together. Can you give us any like sneak peek of the theme that you see apparent in your story that you're sharing in the Realtor Investor?
So a couple of things that have come out as I'm down to the conclusion. Trust but verify. Like as I was articulating the highlights and low points of several of the deals that we had done, a couple of things came up. I was like, gosh, like I honestly did not follow the golden rule number 1, which is due diligence. You got to do your due diligence on these deals. I kind of trusted people at face value on more than one occasion and got burned really bad. The other thing that I'm finding is kind of, it sounds so like blasé, but really like believe in yourself. Like your limitations exist between your ears, right? And if I had listened to what everyone told me I was capable of doing or what society might have said, I would never be where I am today. And then I think another key component is don't do everything yourself. Like the reason everyone's like, my God, you have 6 businesses. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, how are you doing that? I'm not doing it. Like I have people and I didn't ever start a business opportunity. The most important thing was the person. Cause I have lots of business experience. I've got an MBA, I've got an MSIS. I have lots of experience to set up and run businesses, but I don't have the time to run them. And so to me, it was the who was way more important than the how. Cause I knew I could do the how standing on my head. It was more the who and having the right person come along at the right time. That was really, really critical to me in getting these started.
Well, I can't wait to read this for my own selfish reasons, but everything that you've already shared it sounds amazing. I'll learn a lot from reading this, and I'm sure that anyone who comes across your work and this book is going to love it. So let's end today with how can people find you? Where do you want to direct people to?
Probably my website. My real estate website is probably the best place to go to find me, honestly. All the businesses have websites like theheavenlyroast.com, octopools.co, thebestbnbhost.com, stargazerstays.com is my short-term rental website. And then the real estate website is the Smokies strsherpa.com. So SMOKIES STRSHERPA.com is the realtor website. And then you can email me to Karen at smokies.strsherpa.com. Lots of ways to reach me. You can Google me. I'm out there on LinkedIn. I'm all over the place. So if you really want to find me, it's not too hard.
Perfect. Thank you, Karen, for being here today. This is awesome.
Thanks for the chance. Appreciate it.